So let me begin. So welcome to BISP training. I am Ashish Jain, a techno-functional consultant with diversified experience in Oracle Cloud implementation and support in Hyperion planning and budgeting cloud services, Hyperion financial reporting, enterprise performance reporting cloud services, and narrative reporting. In this session, we would discuss about strategic workforce planning, uh, one of our cloud application. Before beginning, a small definition about what is strategic workforce planning. So, strategic workforce planning cloud translates long-term corporate strategy into execution plans by ensuring that the strategy is supported by right workforce, the right skill sets, and headcount at the right time. So, basically, Oracle has this particular application where a user could manage its workforce strategically based on its strategic requirement based on the three major components which we have in strategic workforce planning. The three major components being first component being skill assessment planning, second component being demand planning, and the third component being supply planning. Now, strategic workforce planning provides the configurable drivers that enable planners to answer such questions such as do our employees have the right skill sets, which will be taken up in skill assessment planning, and are they in the right roles to accomplish future plans. So before beginning, let's have a discussion of what is skill assessment planning. So in strategic workforce planning, user can leverage the functionality of skill based planning. The user have the option to describe the required skill set and associate it strategically to the employee which are important to undergo or to take that particular project. It helps the organization to select the right employee with the required skills to manage the projects. So how does it work in our application? A small demo of the scene. So this is our interface wherein we could manage our strategic workforce planning. So under strategic workforce planning, my first component being skill assessment. So under skill assessment, we have the categories, four cards wherein we have the skill summary where all the skills are defined. Let me select one of the entity which have the data as of now. Okay, I suppose my screen was not visible. Hope it is visible now. So let me just begin with the slide again. So we were on this particular slide about strategic workforce planning. So what it says is Oracle strategic workforce planning cloud translates long-term corporate strategy into execution plans by ensuring that the strategy is supported by right workforce. Also, it has some configurable drivers that enables planner to answer such questions such as do we have the right employee with the right skill set to undergo that particular project. Okay. Now, under skill assessment planning, we have these kind of cards wherein we have skill summary, skill by category. We could also define skills by employee, and we have the detail of all the skills that we have for that particular employee. Taking this particular example in our application, how it works. So this is how our application interface looks like. Let me just begin with the start page. So if we just move to strategic workforce, under strategic workforce, we have the card named skill assessment, demand planning, supply planning, and a total gap analysis, which is the over analysis of the complete strategic planning that we do. And in under overview, we have the data set, which is more of the reporting, wherein the complete reporting of the total FT and all could be viewed. Let me select one of the entity which have the required numbers so that we could have a better view of how the things look in our application. So under this total HCM is under our service desk. If we just move to this particular, we will have these kind of dashboards which provides with the graphical representation of total strategically aligned full-time employee required by an organization to meet its strategic goals. Apart from that, we have all the review of all the employees that we have, existing employees in our organization, with regard to the type of employee, and these job and these employees are those which have been marked or which have been mapped as strategic jobs. So we have the two kind of job category in our application, first being strategic job and a non-strategic job. And since we need to do our planning, strategic planning with regard to only strategic jobs, so this particular form will only display those information which have been mapped as strategic job. And this provides with the overall view of the total employees for that particular strategic job with the employee type. FT always remains one for each employee and the age band. Apart from that, we have a card wherein we could define the average compensation rate, which could be utilized for the purpose of calculating the total expense that an organization could bear when they are doing certain kind of strategic planning with regard to demand or supply. So under skill assessment, as I have defined, in strategic workforce planning, user can leverage the functionality of skill-based planning. The user have the option to describe the required skill set and associate its strategically important employee to those skill sets. It helps the organization to select the right employee with the required skills to manage the projects. So, for example, since currently we have these average skill comparisons and this being a radar chart, what we will do, we will just associate some of our employee to, say, we have these skills by employee, okay, and we have this category rating. Now what this category rating has, it is the rating which starts from 1 to 5, and what it says, 1 being for these particular kind of skill sets for this particular employee belonging to these particular strategy job, currently he has a rating of 3, so he is on a mid level uh, a skill required for this particular skill set, that is the adapting to change. Okay, so either you could provide with this skill set directly in here, or you could provide with the skill set to individual employees. Okay, now what will happen when we define this skill set? So currently, since we do have only the start point, no end point, so we don't have any skills by category summary being defined in here. Okay, a graphical representation which will be displayed once we provide with this information. So how to provide this information? Let me just select one of the employee. So say I just selected this particular employee. Okay, I just click actions and I could just click this skill assessment to provide with the rating for this particular employee based on the various skill sets that are aligned or have a valid intersection for these. So say this particular employee has currently has a rating of 3 and my highest point rating being 5. Similarly, all my highest rating point are 5, so I am rating it as 1 to 5, and these are the ratings which I have provided to this particular employee. So the lowest being 1 and the highest being 5. Now, what will happen once I click save? It will calculate the skill gap that we have for this particular employee for this particular job, a strategic job that could be relatively significant for the organization. Yes. Okay. Now, what will happen? This will result into a summarized view for the user about the required skill sets that the user had, so that that particular employee could be aligned to the job which require these particular kind of skill sets. Once done, if I just click to skills by category, sorry, if I go to skill summary, what I will have this comparatively figure in here, and these are the changes, and then the radar graph is displayed. However, we could change these settings. We could have our own graphical representation or the presentation of the graph. And if I just go to skill details for this particular employee, we will have the same displayed in here. So this is how the skill assessment works. Apart from that, what overall view that we could have in skill assessment is the behavioral skill, the technical skill, the managerial skill. So we have the three category of skill sets under which we have defined various skills, and we give it the overall view of how our organization have mapped or have the employees with the required set of skills. So this is one of the component under strategic workforce planning requiring skill assessment. Now, second component under strategic planning is demand planning. So what is demand planning? Demand analysis gives user insight into what resources the long-term strategy requires, such as headcount or FT and strategic job. This information helps user to be proactive in planning resources and preparing for their needed skill set. So how does this work? So let me just move to demand. And under demand, if you just see, we have a summary of all the demand FTE that are required, a complete graphical view for all the strategic job, and the FTE count, required FTE count. And then we have the demand driver data. Now, what is this demand driver data and how we could utilize this? So to give you a overall insight of how this work, let me just open a notepad so that I could describe it better. So under driver based planning, what we have? We have drivers, we have driver logic, and we have driver data. So what will happen? Say we have a driver which says an organization need to identify its revenue, particularly say the consulting revenue. So consulting revenue will become a driver for the organization. Okay. Now, now what would be the driver in the case of consulting revenue? So the application provides two out of three out of box logics, one of it being the previous year ratio. So under previous year ratio, what it will do, it will take the average ratio of the previous year data that we have provided and do the calculations accordingly. In second logic, we have demand equals driver by data rate. So what will happen, whatever rate that we provide in here, driver data rate, and whatever the demand rate that we provide, what it will do, it will divide that driver data by the demand rate. Similarly, in demand equals to driver into rate, the logic will go that whatever demand data that we provide, it will multiply it by rate to calculate the FT. Okay. So say for this particular logic, I would need to have this consulting revenue calculated as driver. My logic for this particular will be driver by rate. And how it will work? Say, uh, my requirement is I want to have a total revenue to be generated as consulting revenue of 15 million for my financial year 21. Okay. And for this, achieve to achieve this particular revenue, I have certain partners in my organization who are driving this revenue. And say for each uh, partner that I have, I would be driving a revenue of 5 million, right? So in order to achieve this target, what is the full-time employee or the full-time Oracle partner that I need in my future endeavors under strategic workforce planning? So what it will do, the driver will take into account 15 and just divide it by 5 in order to calculate the number of employee. And in this case, it will be 3. So we'll take this particular example as a live of it. So how to do the calculation? Let me just uh, provide you with the same. So say, let me take entity that I have created as BISP. Okay. Now under BISP, we have these two drivers, one being consulting revenue and another being number of projects. So see, For my consulting revenue, I need to have a logic as demand equals to driver by rate. And my demand is that I want to generate a revenue of 15 million in my financial year or 21, my plan financial year. Okay. And I want to increase this by a amount of 3 million every year. So say for financial year 22, it will be 18 million. For financial year 23, it will be 21 million. And similarly, it will be 24 million for 24 financial year 24 and 27 million for financial year 25. Once I click save, what will happen? This will become my demand driver data in order to calculate my full-time employee. Now, if I just go to demand by entity, or I could just directly go to demand by job, because in demand by entity, I have all the jobs reflecting, but I want to only do the calculation for this consulting revenue against the partner, APM partner. Okay. So I have this job in here wherein I have APM partner. Now what will happen once I click go, it will create this particular form in here. Now the logic that I have defined is driver. I need to calculate consulting revenue, and my logic being driver equals to driver by rate. Now what is my demand? For every APM partner, I want to generate a revenue of 5 million. Okay. I You could provide with a demand scale. Demand scale is to be provided in the form of percentage, and then we have the expected productivity. We will take into account this expected productivity once we get some data, and then we will identify how it works. Okay. So say I want to have this 5 million for all my strategic year demand rate. So I just provide with the data accordingly. And once I submit this demand rate for all my strategic years, I just click save. And once I run the rule, the calculate demand rule, what it will do, it will calculate the number of full-time EPM partners required by the organization in the strategic years to meet my target. So say uh, for financial year 21, I would be requiring 3 full-time EPM partner to meet my goal of generating 15 million revenue, with 5 million revenue being generated by each partner. Similarly, for year financial year 20, it reach out to be 4, and also for financial year it is 4, and it it is the rounded value that we get in a display in here. And if you want to make see what exact value we have, so for financial year 21 it's 3, for financial year it is 3.6, 4.2, 4.8, and 5.4. Now what the organization or the user could do is they could identify number of full-time EPM partners they would be requiring, and say currently they have 2 EPM partners in their organization, so they could uh, hire one more APM partner to meet the demand FT. Accordingly, total demand compensation that would be required or that would be expense gets calculated based upon the average compensation data that we have provided. So under average compensation rate that we provide, the system calculates the total revenue accordingly. So say I have provided EPM partner with an average revenue of 1 million, increasing it by 1 lakh. Okay. And what it will do, it will calculate under demand. If you will go, it will calculate the total compensation expense that I would incur in my near future based upon the required FT. Similarly, if I just go for the second category of demand driver that I have is number of projects. So say I want to I want to generate this particular revenue, and to generate this particular revenue, for every 15 billion revenue that I want to generate, I want to have at least 3 projects aligned. I would be requiring at least 3 projects so that I could get this particular target achieved. And if I just increase it by 1 for each year, what it will do, we would be providing with the number of employees that would be required against these 3 projects. So in order to handle these 3 projects, for each project I would be requiring to have at least 3 consultants in my sorry yes 3 consultant in my organization to meet that goal. So under EPM consultant, my demand rate would be, considering the assumptions, same assumption, number of projects with the logic saying driver multiplied by rate. Now my demand rate is, for each project I need at least 3 consultant. Okay, so I just provide with the demand rate. It could be any number. I'm just taking it as 3 as of now to get the calculations. Okay, and once I click save, again I have to run the same rule, the calculate demand, and what it will calculate for me, the number of EPM consultant that I would be requiring to manage the projects in order to generate that particular revenue that is required. So the number of EPM consultant to handle out the project would be 9 for financial year 21, and similarly it will increase accordingly. Now what does this expected productivity means? Say for the EPM partner that we have aligned for the demand rate. Now I believe that the demand rate that I have aligned for per employee, there might be chances that the total productivity might be only 80%. Okay, and for financial year 22 I just keep it as 80, and for the further year I just make a random selection of some percentage. Okay, now what it will do, it will take this expected productivity as a figure, say among these EPM consultant, what should be the expected number of FT based on the productivity. It will calculate the number of FT count accordingly. So if I click calculate demand in here, the expected productivity will be demand data divided by rate and multiplied by 1 minus expected productivity. So this is the 20% of the same. If you want to see the calculation of it, let me just open it this in Excel. So how the calculation is working out, what I am saying is to my application that for every 15 million revenue that I want to generate, every EPM partner would be generating a revenue of 5 million. So 15 million, it's my total revenue that I want. 5 million is my demand uh, rate. So, and what it is doing, it is calculating my total number of employee. Sorry, the total number of full-time partners that I need. So it is calculating 3. Now what it's saying, I have uh, I have just submitted the information that my expected productivity is 80%. So what it will do, it will calculate the required number of employees now based upon the expected, and it will be 1 minus 80%, and the number that I would get is 0.6. Okay, and if I just go to demand FT by job, I should get this 0.6 in here. So I have this 0.6 in here. So this is how it calculates the number of FT required based upon the productivity. So this is how the demand based planning could be achieved for strategic workforce uh, requirement for various kind of drivers. Now, the third kind of planning component that we have is the supply planning. Now, in supply planning, with supply planning, you look ahead at how your workforce resources will meet your workforce demand. So say in your organization, for a particular job, you already have some employees that you have aligned to those particular jobs. And you have a long-term project of 5 years. And among those employees, some of the employees are about to achieve the retirement age. So that retirement age becomes your supply driver, and that supply driver will work accordingly. So say it could be attrition could be according to job, or it could be according to age. So let me just select one of the entity wherein we have the data available. So under total SCM HR desk, we just go to HR desk. For this particular, we have this iteration by age. Now what we have to provide with the retirement age as a driver. So say for my all the strategic year, my retirement age being 62, and then we have the attrition data by age band. Now we provide this attrition data. Attrition data means how much could be expected number of employees attaining this particular retirement age. So say for 2500 it's 20%, for over 70 it is 10%, and we have to provide this data in negative. Once we provide this data in negative, what the application will do, you could also provide it by job. It will calculate the total FTE required, supply FTE, and the total turnover accordingly. And all the calculations, that is the total supply FTE that is required, will get calculated, and we'll have the supply headcount being displayed. So what is the total supply of employee, that is the strategic employee, that for this particular job gets calculated in application. Now once we are done with this supply and demand planning, we could just go to gap analysis, and under gap analysis you will see the total supply FT, the total demand FT, and the variance that we have in our organization. So for say for this particular example, for this particular entity, we have a total supply of only 8.13 FT, and we have a total demand of 52.95. So it results into negative variance, that is we are falling short of number of full-time employees to attain or achieve the targeted revenue or the drivers that we have defined. So here it is 44, and similarly for the further years the calculations are taken care of, and we get this graphical representation of the demand and supply gap. And for an organization, the ideal situation is this particular supply and demand curve should converge instead of diverge from each other. We also have this supply versus demand headcount calculations for all the planning that we have done based upon the demand and supply. Okay, and we also have this gap closing. So under gap closing you will get the total calculated FTE well numbers and all. This is how the skill assessment, demand and supply planning works in strategic workforce planning. Apart from that, in strategic workforce planning we could also manage our actual workforce planning, that is the compensation planning for all the employees. Either it could be new hiring, it could be existing employee and all. So if I just go to plan scenario, I could check out what is the number of new hiring that I have done for in my application, and the calculations of the same could be seen in here. So under existing employees, so I don't have any new hiring being done for this particular entity as of now. Let me just change to actual again to see whether we have any existing data available or not. Okay, so right now we don't have data for this particular compensation planning, but yes, what we could do, we could provide with the uh, employee information in here in order to manage the existing employee and also to manage the demographics of the same. And this particular demographics wherein we define the skill sets, the age band, the education level, and the gender, these get directly related to your strategic cube in order to do your strategic planning. So this is what we have for this particular session with regard to strategic workforce. I'm open to any questions that you have. Okay, so I got the reply that no more questions. So uh, if you get any questions or further queries that you would be having for this particular session, you could just drop a mail, and we would like to answer all your queries. Okay. Thank you for being part of this particular session. Have a nice day ahead.